Hey, good morning. We're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're live at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. As I told you earlier, JR handed me this first time ever at Circuit World. $10 down. If you have $10 to the end of February, everything in the store is 6 months, same as cash. Bring $10 and you have 6 months, same as cash. First time ever at Circuit World. Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm well.
And Rick?
I'm well as well.
And Bruce? Oh, Bruce didn't show up.
Bruce is on his way to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
when Bruce's ship comes in, he'll be at the airport.
Bruce is off to visit family and friends, so we wish him and his wife a safe trip, and we'll see him back. See you later, JR. We'll see him back next week. So it's the three of us. It's just the three of us, baby. What happened in America? I mean, what has happened? And I know I told when I opened up this morning, okay, I said when I opened, I said I'm going to talk to the All-Star panel, and the question is going to be this big, and they're going to be saying, okay, how do we frame this? But do you sit and say, just every once in a while, what happened? What happened in this country?
Well, I say that every day because I'm into that, what's going on and behind the scenes. I
understand, but I mean,
yes.
Bringing it down to this school shooting, I mean, how do we get where we're at? And what say you? I put this out. One of our viewers, I said, what happened in America? And somebody wrote in, for me, the answer is simple. America has started chasing the all-powerful dollar and decided to abandon family values. We went to a two-income society and left our children behind to fend for themselves. We started to rely on teachers and media, TV and computer, to raise our children. I don't think we have a gun problem. We have an accountability problem, starting with parents. Now, that was a viewer out there. I asked that question, and that's, huh? That's the answer I got right there.
Well, for me, it starts a long time before this issue. I mean, back in the 60s.
Back in the day.
Back in the day when it started, we didn't realize it. Like Disney was putting subliminal things in and more terror and was coming onto movies. All that changed, and I think that was by plan. So what's happening now is just a culmination of really a lot of work for the whomever to disrupt this whole country and be able to just tell it where it wants it to go. And like now it's happening. There was a woman the other day, don't know her name, she was saying everyone's weeping for these children. We're just heartbroken, and she was saying the same thing, but then she said now we need to get rid of guns, and lamenting the thing, which is true. But then she's the woman who supports abortion, who doesn't mind, in my view, killing how many million people a year.
I agree with you. I don't know how they stand up and say we have to get rid of guns, but if so many millions,
it's a lot of things that are ruining our country.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just coming from everywhere.
Moral compass.
Yeah,
the family unit, disintegration of the family unit.
But I think
it's huge.
This kid's 19. He's 19 now. We're talking this week a lot about mental illness. What happened to our kids? Because I mean, you know, this is all the time now, and we're starting to look at mental illness. What say you, Rick, when you hear all? I mean, this kid could walk away with mental illness.
My wife, Cindy, and I went to see 1517 to Paris last week. There's a scene in there where two of the moms come into the school, and the teacher is telling them, and this is a true story, that their kids needed to be medicated. I think there's issues at the school level where so many kids are taking drugs for probably things they don't need to be
Amen.
medicated for. ADD, ADHD, all of the little acronyms you can come up with. And I mean,
That's a huge thing.
that's enormous.
They want them to take that so they'll be more disciplined, actually.
Yeah.
Because if kids are a little feisty, that's really a good thing. They're not boring
I mean,
and dumb. They want to just calm
have my
everyone.
grade school life in the corner.
I got a spanking in the first grade.
Okay, so I have no choice. I have no choice.
Came down the slide on my stomach. They told me not to. I said, that is ridiculous. I've been doing this for years. Met me at the bottom. Janie?
This conversation's getting dangerous. I know. But no, I love what you just said because that's the problems we used to have.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying as a kid trying to slide down, quit coming down there, the slide that way, so you got a spanking. So that's the problem we used to have.
But it sounds so corny and old-fashioned, but it's true. And you say it all the time. Somebody moves to town, hey, where's your baseball glove?
I have a baseball glove.
That a girl. I mean,
Okay.
we used to go
Slow
out
down.
and
I mean,
play
it's
baseball
true.
every
It's
day.
true.
But now the kids are working their thumbs like there's no tomorrow. And, I'm sorry, but, right, wrong, or indifferent, my grandkids, my son's kids anyway, they're allowed a
Hallelujah.
very, very small period of time to get on the thing. And they're 3.5 years old.
So
They get out and
ADD.
they tell my wife how to turn the volume up on the phone at 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
ADD, I have to share this with you, attention deficit disorder, ADD, right? So I know nothing about ADD,
But I is one.
So I'm coaching a baseball team. This is back somewhere in the 80s, okay? Now, don't take this wrong, parents. Please do not. But this is when ADD started to become popular.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so...
That's a good word for it.
So...
It was the in thing to have.
Yeah. So,
What drug does your kid take?
I've got a 10-year-old baseball team, and I'm the coach, right? And so at the end of practice, you always get the dads, okay, that come up, how's my son doing? You talk to him, all right? So this one dad comes up to me, I'll never forget it, right? He comes up to me, he said, how's my son doing at practice? Well, his son actually was, the kid that I couldn't get to, settle down, Get out there and stand still. Don't move. If I catch you over there, okay, so I said very nicely to him. I said, your son's doing a great job. He's just a little hyper. Oh my God, you would thought I had...
Fighting words?
That he looked at me. I said, your son's doing great. He's a little hyper. Now, when we were kids, we were just a little hyper.
How long have
Do you
been
remember that?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, he's doing real well. He's just a little hyper. He's not hyper. He has ADD. I'm thinking, because at this time, I don't have Google. I can't go... What the hell is
ADHD
Is it, so I can't go ADHD, is that what it is? Okay, so I can't go.
There's ADD and there's ADHD.
I can't Google it, right? Because we haven't gotten there yet, all right? So I can't Google it. And I'm thinking, what'd this guy just tell me? I mean, I feel bad for the kid. Then I
He has
go.
a disease
Then I go and I start looking it up, and
Is that a spinal disorder or what?
No, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. So, should I start a fundraiser?
GoFundMe page.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't want to finish. Then I go home, I start studying. I said, when I get done, the kid's hyper.
It's
I'm
basically,
sorry.
and it's
I didn't mean
also
to tell that story, but
No, let me tell you, we could sit and tell stories all day long. But Cindy, again, used to be, when she taught for years and years, she was a coach. And, I mean, she coached volleyball and basketball, and these kids would go on trips. And, she'd recruit me sometimes to drive the bus because I had the right license. And she would have to get all the medication gathered up. And there'd be plastic bags full of stuff that these kids had to take every day. Everything from asthma to ADHD to, you name it. And they had an ailment for it. And I'm telling you, I just go, Jiminy.
I have a story that might be pertinent to parents listening now, because some of that's still going on. But our daughter is going to be 36 next month. So she was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and they wanted to put her on Ritalin first. Well, in my carpool I watched the kids as they went on ADD, and they all were zombies, one after another.
Zombies, exactly.
So I said to the doctor, I said, that is not going to happen. I would rather have my daughter talking to me and doing whatever she's doing than being a zombie. So they said, oh, Jane, you have to do it. I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. We can tell the teacher she's going to get this medicine, but we aren't going to tell the teacher what day she gets it. Anything. If there's a change, every day the teacher says there was a change in behavior or they're not. We went through 4 of these things, and the teacher never said there was really a change. So some kids, and then they keep getting the doses bigger and bigger. So I said, this proves to me this isn't helping what she's got. We finally found something that she had her really attention. She couldn't concentrate or read the lines, and she had to be able to focus. But they just throw this Ritalin and stuff out there like it's a candy bar, and the kids are zombies. I watched it happen in front of mine. So parents need to do some investigating before you agree to give your children
I think
Ritalin.
To cover that broad spectrum question, we'd need a half-a-day show.
Well,
because
I agree.
There's so many contributing factors.
Oh.
We couldn't even touch on them all in this 20-minute segment.
Well, the bureaucracy of education and what has happened, and we're here today trying to figure out what went wrong, and 17 kids and a football coach that is a security guard. Let's go there with that, okay? So we have a guy, he's a security guard. He doesn't have a gun. He's dead. He threw his body in front of bullets for kids. He's a security guard, assistant football coach. Now, if I got it right, this is a guy who grew up there, always wanted
he went to high school.
Yeah, went to high school there.
He's a ledge.
And but why does the security guard not have a gun?
Good question.
I mean,
that debate was all over the TV.
What do we do at the schools? Let's just switch it up. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a really goofy question.
No,
with the technology we have today, why do we need brick and mortar schools? I'm just asking. I don't know.
We need some socialization.
Is that a crazy question?
No, but we need socialization.
No. I understand what he said. I understand what he said.
Yeah,
I understand what he said.
That's important.
I agree. We need the socialization. Well, then wait a minute. We need the socialization, but they're not.
No, they're not.
The kids are even going to the schools, and they're not even. The socialization's not there. They're on social media. Okay.
No, they have social media blocked at all the schools.
The schools.
Yes.
Yes,
when
I agree with
school,
that.
They participate.
The Wi-Fi has social media blocked at all the schools, and they do make them do group projects. I understand they don't.
Yeah, they
do
do.
Socialization as they used to. They also don't get to learn without technology, which is ridiculous. They take tests online. They do all their tests on computers now. Teachers don't grade papers. But, so that part I don't agree with. I mean, that part would go into the taking.
All right, she's got her paw up.
Sam has older kids at home.
Yeah,
like
middle school and high school.
Elementary, I have elementary school. Everything's paper. They do have computer lab. No phones are allowed. But when you transition into middle school, that's when you start getting your own tablet. That's when all of your stuff's on computer. So it's like the older you get, everything is still
They want you to be dependent on technology.
Right. Because see, they're having to learn at elementary age. They're having to learn to write. Their style of writing, their style.
Thank
of
God they're still doing
they
that.
Can't do
Wow.
They want you to have a brick and mortar mentality at elementary school. But when you start having all these assignments and all these papers, they are wanting to do everything on the computer. That way, it's ridiculous.
Okay, what do we do for the security now? First of all, I'm concerned that we've gotten to the point that we have to have this level of security. Israel, I understand, has an average of 3 teachers in the building that are well trained and armed, and you don't know who they are, and their school doors latch the minute they're closed. And
what's wrong with that idea in our schools?
And they can open, the emergency bar will open them. But
my grandchildren's school is latched. You have to ring a buzzer. But if this kid that was kicked out last year came, and I'm not sure they'd say you can't come in. But my idea is it's a shame and I hate it, but metal detectors in every exit. And I know it's expensive, but
Well, they do in a lot of
ask these
schools.
17 people how expensive they care. And if you have metal detectors, that is because 3 teachers who have a gun may not be in the place where he's already shot 5, 6 people. I mean, I'm for teachers taking classes and being armed.
okay, my heart is broken, but the total picture, I'm very nervous over right there. Florida shooting calls for mental health action. Do you hear that? Right?
Yep.
Okay, Trump seeks to comfort nation in week of Florida shoot, calls for mental health action. And I'm not taking the president to task, but that calls for mental health action makes me a nervous wreck.
Why?
Because, I'll just say it candidly, the Jews didn't think it could happen. Okay? And I think when you go, I think this is this, and I don't want to go this route because it has really nothing to do with this shooting, but when we have somebody like a Joy Behar this week say that our vice president, that when God speaks to you, okay, you're mentally ill. Okay, let me ask you a question.
God's spoken to me, by the way.
Has God spoke to you?
Yes.
You're crazy as hell.
That's
All
what
right.
she said.
That's what.
That's not what you said.
No, that's what Joy Behar said.
How is Joy Behar still on
Why
ABC?
is
But
she-
what
why
I'm
is
saying
she
is,
the
I'm not
end-all
giving
be-all?
her. I'm not giving her this
Credit.
big platform. I'm just saying she let the cat out of the bag. That's what they think. They think Christianity is a mental illness. I'm telling you, they do, and it concerns me that when we have calls for. All right, we had calls after 9/11 that it was necessary to secure us. Our government continues to find reasons it's necessary to help us.
You put the
Right?
hammer on the
Patriot
head.
Act.
Right?
Yeah.
They always have something. Now,
That's
my
the
heart's
plan.
broken over this and these families, and my heart is broken, but our government always has things that are there to help us. Now the government's calling for the mental health. So we've yelled gun control for how long? Not we, but, gun control. 95% of Americans in their poll say, better, more extensive background checks, okay? And the concern is mental health. Let's say if you go over and you fill out a gun permit, and have you ever had any, no, but underneath religion, Christianity.
They made the.
What happens
Well, I did
when
that, and they passed me here in Blue Ridge. I have a carrying.
But they don't ask you if you're a Christian.
I don't remember. I doubt it. I'd have been furious.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I know
is
that's,
that on there?
no, it's not
But
on
he's
there.
saying they
think
may
so.
put it on there.
I'm just saying, this is one of those things 5 years from now, I'll give it a full 5 years, and you're going to be sitting somewhere and say, well, hell, he was right. The mental illness, because why do we have the mental health problem today?
well,
Now, I know we do.
Parents aren't paying it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's and Bill will kill me for this, but those inoculations are not a good thing. And there are other reasons.
Bill doesn't know you
There's
said
aluminum, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons why there's more mental health now, but
Mental health issues.
issues. There's no.
Now, I
mental
want to make sure for the audience to understand, I am not making light of mental health.
No,
And
No,
I'm not-
but make sure, yeah. But
no.
here's the thing: this guy and
And I probably have not. I probably crossed all political correct
well, it's just
lines
how
to call you
couch it.
crazy.
Yeah, that
I shouldn't have
was-
done that.
That was.
I need to retract that.
You are pushing the envelope, as they said in
Okay.
Top Gun. So the thing
Hey,
is,
what happens at the table stays at the table, right?
yeah. But the thing is, here's a caveat. This has happened several, but this guy here, whom I will not say his name, I don't want him to show his picture. I don't want them to show whom he's affiliated with, because that just glorifies whom he's everything. Just say
It
that.
validates.
Yeah, that person, and everyone's, oh, I want to. So, number one, this guy was pointed out to the FBI. He's got things on his Facebook page, guns. He's kind of said something about shooting. Given to the FBI, and they say, well, he can say things, and they just let it go. That That is an abomination. If I go to the FBI and say, my neighbor said this, but can you prove it? No. But in a Facebook page you can, and they absolutely look the other way. If that's not a red flag saying, I want to be a professional school shooter, hello. And
Okay, all right. Now, wait a
that
minute.
is ridiculous.
Okay. Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just look at them. They can spy on
Antonin
Trump.
Scalia said the Constitution is a legal document.
But that is a threat.
No, I understand what you're
That's
saying.
a legitimate thing.
So where are we at on our freedom of speech? You hear them yelling. My concern is the government helping me. It just scares the hell out of me. Anytime I know the government's out to help me,
The government is here to help
Yeah.
you.
Anytime I find
Reagan's line.
What?
Anytime someone shows up and says, I'm from the government to help you, run.
The government says, now they're all on there saying, well, it's Facebook and YouTube and a Google. They have some responsibility in this to, censor what I post?
No, this was the FBI. They got to.
No, I understand.
No,
but
he
says
They
now
are
social
censoring
media.
conservative. They
Exactly. Who is
24 hours.
who
They're
is going to watch that? Are we going to have a new level of regulations on censorship for
We
social
have a
media?
censorship czar.
Never know. Exactly. Got to switch subjects because we do have enough time. We do not, sadly, there was an emergency,
Rice.
so we don't have a pet of the week. They had this morning. So I got a couple extra minutes. Let's switch to the DACA. What say you, Rick? They're going to go home and there's no vote on DACA. And shockingly enough, the liberal Republicans, not Democrats, we always know where they're coming from. So, I mean, who's shocked, right? The Chuck Schumer and them. But
10 million.
10 million.
They wanted amnesty for. They meaning the, what do they call it? The gang of 16 or 6 or...
So they want amnesty for 10 million. Now...
What in the world?
I thought when we were on the campaign trail, I thought I would hear numbers like there's 11 million undocumented in here, right? Somewhere around that, right? So if they want 10, was it 10 or 11? So what they're saying is just everybody.
That's what they're saying.
That's the word, right? Everybody.
Rush had an interesting comment the other day, talking about the deep state, the Dems, they're trying to bring the president down every way they can.
Oh, absolutely.
Rush said the only way the president goes down is if he signs an amnesty package, because the base voted him in for that simple reason.
Right.
He said he wasn't going to do that. And I think that's going to hurt him if all of a sudden...
If he signs word is he, said, hey, don't send it here, I'll veto it. So, he's giving the impression that, he's not going to accept that, and I think they're back to the drawing board. In fact, Lindsey Graham came out yesterday and said something to the reference of like, Mr. President, get those basically right-wing wackos out of your ear, And so
Lindsey Graham said that?
Well, talking about no, I mean he didn't say it that way, but you understand what I'm saying? He said you need to quit listening to you and I. Okay? And start listening to them.
We're right-wing wackos and he's not? Lindsey Graham? I think
Graham
he borders on traitor.
Okay. All right, now our next segment, traitors in America. What say you? You got a list? Let's just do a show. No, let's do a whole show, traitors in America.
Oh, well, I could do at least 30 minutes all by myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here is what concerns me, because I always watch the timeline and we got to move the subject. They spent how long telling us that our president is not mentally stable to hold office, right? Right.
That was Maxine Waters and
all of them.
What's her name?
And then MSNBC, CNN
Nancy
even
Pelosi.
had. Okay, if people out there think I'm so far in left field, CNN even had a panel of psychologists, right, on the panel,
probably.
and they broke down his actions and everything and analyzed, right?
Oh.
We spent time on it with the doc.
So,
spend time
right.
on the mental
So
plan.
they are talking about
test.
mental instability. Okay. Now we have this shooting and mental health. I'm nervous about what they may do to help us. That's what.
Yeah,
coming
they
out
may
of
say
this.
I'm mentally ill, according to their standard. I mean, that's what it could come to.
You watch
I mean,
one of my
that's what
shows.
it
Now
could
you
come
think
to.
I'm joking? Watch one of my full shows, and you don't think they're going to tag me as crazy?
Well, you are a little different than I, but no. But I feel the
See
same
the
way as
reaction
you
that
about.
Yeah, that was I mean, that was
control booth?
unanimous.
No, I mean, people. I do tweet for fun. Twitter. I don't know. I do. It's fun. I mean, I like to read, but it doesn't really do any good. But I do it just to see how many people I can get. But I'm reading all these people, and I'm thinking, all of these people are on a list. We're all on a list.
I agree 100%. How many of you here today are excited to find out that Mitt Romney is running for
Oh my
Senate?
God, I'm throwing up. I'm throwing up. He is the
man.
deep state personified, and
Yes,
you
he
never
is.
knew it. He is so deep, and they are. Oh my goodness, my goodness.
Okay, it's 9:30, and we do have extra time. So, Rick, what are you closing with today?
Oh man, I didn't know we were closing
I hadn't even
already.
thought.
Well, it's 9:30. I mean, we don't have to be in a rush because I don't have my pet of the week, and Jason's coming in with Team FY Sports in a couple minutes. So, what subject would you did you come here this morning
Bring
and say?
something up we can discuss. Good. Mine are all too far out for Brian. It makes him nervous. He gets really nervous when I say something.
This has been said so many times, but it just really, I don't even know what to think anymore with some of the hypocrisy that comes out of a tragedy like this,
Oh yeah.
and the agendas that immediately start flying around. If some of these people could rationally think how the genie is out of the bottle with guns, okay? You can't turn back the clock. The fact remains that there are, millions of guns in gun owners' hands that will never do anything like this.
We don't have an.
But we are all made out to be the bad guys because we own guns. We own cars too. We go to doctors. All of these,
But that's the plan. You got it.
there's just nothing that we could do to stop something like this. I mean, what are we going to do? Outlaw box trucks? I mean, they're killing people with box trucks driving down the sidewalk. Is that analogous to a gun shooting? If someone really wants to harm somebody, they're going to find a way.
Yeah.
You don't have to limit
And-
it to
and-
an AR-15.
And when you come up with the gun conversation, if you look at the shootings that take place, predominantly all soft targets.
No question.
All soft targets. So the mental health, but they're soft targets. But I think you're exactly right. I just wish, as far out as I am, that people would just take a minute and Google, because like I said with ADD back in the 80s, I didn't have Google. You are so fortunate, not to say you have Google, but you have research available that we used to have to go find a book at the library. That being said, I wish people would go and read some history.
Yeah.
And Google government asked you to give up your guns or something like that, and read all the history of where the people were living and thought it couldn't happen. And I think we're so on the edge, and they've been trying to take the guns away from, and they start on, well, we don't want your hunting rifle. Well, I don't.
Well, they will.
But they will,
No.
exactly.
Here's what I think I'm gonna. This is my new project. I love Bruce's Rules for Radicals, and I think we ought to just keep that up the whole time back here so people won't forget it. We need to expose hypocrisy. And if I were Sean Hannity, that's what I would be doing. Literally, I would say, so-and-so said this, but da-da-da-da. And that's when I'm going to bring one, and anyone else can join me. Who was the most hypocritic, I'll be nice and say, person? Well, here's an example of just incredible hypocrisy. Yeah, that's and I'm going to bring it. And I think if it were just, if Sean would do it, Denise D'Souza, does. Everyone needs to do it, because after you say it enough, people are going to start listening, and that's what the Dems do to us. They keep pushing how dumb we are. Blah blah. We need to push. This is hypocrisy. We're not making it up. We're going to show what they said there. Dianne Feinstein, did you see her old thing? We should not let these immigrants come in here. Did you see that one when she was young?
Yeah.
They can't come in here. We can't afford it. And now that is the ultimate hypocrisy. Right. So we need to bring this out and expose it, because finally, I think some people are going to say, they got a point there.
But people don't think when they hear a statement like 33,000 people are killed annually by guns. Wait a minute.
How many are killed by abortion?
20,000 of those people are a result of suicide deaths.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You break the numbers down.
See, we need to educate people on all those things.
When they throw these sound bites out, people don't say, wait a minute, let's break this down. And you can take that for any hypocrisy statement that comes out. It's just incredible how people just don't dig a little bit, do the research, and think, people. Think of what you just heard, and if it makes common sense to you.
I will say this, and sometimes when you frame something in a box, it's I can't say every mass shooting, but just pay attention closely that this is the generation when we get into 19 years old, 20 years old, because now we're going back to just the tip of 97, 98, okay? This is the group of kids that we finally gave up and gave to the government to raise. Remember that. Just remember that in the box. Now, are all of the problems that happened to this young man in his life, throughout his life at 19 years old, attributed to that? I don't know. Is this a kid that just does have a mental health problem? I don't know. But don't forget, right now we're sitting on the 19 and 20-year-olds that we gave to the government. And I know I've got people yelling at me, but let me tell you something. When pre-K starts at 2.5 years old, and then we go to the point to where the government feeds you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or somewhere in the South Supper or wherever you're at, okay? Sorry, I got that. Dinner's noon, right? But we've got you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We went to pre-K is 2.5 years old. We went to kindergarten's a full day. I mean, when I was a kid, you can understand, you can tell what's wrong with me, because we only had half-day kindergarten and we didn't have much more than blocks. Okay, so you can understand what my problem is.
I didn't go to kindergarten. I couldn't afford it because it wasn't free.
The law back then did not require it.
And I couldn't afford to go to the Little Red School.
And breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the government. Just remember, this is where we are reaping from here on out what we get. Am I wrong?
No, but
this is the age where we really gave the kids to the government to raise.
What's happening? And
I know Mom and Dad's got mad at me. I know. Oh no, I got so many friends out there. You're great parents. Amanda's a great. Amanda gave. You should have heard the other day. Amanda's doing an awesome job with her kids. Sam's doing an awesome job with her nieces. So I don't want to throw that box totally. You understand?
Yeah, you weren't saying that. Our kids have to go to school now. Homeschooling is becoming a little more accepted, but they have a hard road to hoe. But the thing is that I know you've seen this like a year or two ago. There's a woman, and she's saying, when are the parents going to learn that the children are not their children? They are the community's children, kind of like it takes a... She says that, I can find it. When the parents need to learn their children are not theirs. They are ours. She says that on national TV.
Folks,
that's the agenda.
They will not give school vouchers to parents for two basic reasons. One, the money. They don't want to lose the money. And two, they want your children.
Out of control.
I've heard time and time again from...
They want your children.
My wife's colleagues from school, they used to sit and say, when did it all of a sudden become our responsibility to raise those parents' kids? We're here to teach them, not to raise them.
You know, I said this on the show, and I know we got to go, but I said this on the show when I opened up. Our generation has been talking all week like, remember when, you know, what happened. And as backward as they may think I am out there, the kids, okay, I mean, you did not want your mom and dad to find out from your teacher
No.
that you were in trouble in school. Now, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. Now, it's totally opposite. Let me tell you something. We can go a list. My mom used to do book bag inspection, son. You walk through the front door, you got off that bus, you come to that front door, you drop that book bag, and she went through there, because if there was a note from the teacher...
Oh, a note from the teacher.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Our teacher
I was a boy, and I would
Lord.
kind of hide the note from the teacher, so my mom had to do some extra investigating on me.
We didn't have book bags.
We didn't either.
We didn't have book bags.
I know, you put a belt around them.
No,
I know.
I didn't
that
even
was
do
what,
that. You carry them like this.
Carry them on your hip.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
Let's go with this
them
real
really
quick.
nice.
Yeah.
Let's go with this real quick. Let's have some fun. Do you remember? All right. What is this? This is your test. This is your test. Okay. You remember we used to go first day of school, and we got all excited because we went to every class and they handed out our books. Right? Got a science book, math book. Right? So you bring all these books home. All right. What'd you do that night?
You cut up shopping bags and
shopping bags, right?
You covered them.
Yeah, and the rich kids went to the store and bought book covers. You always knew those were like the snotty kids, like you. Yeah.
Roller bags.
Exactly. I thought A and P.
We didn't use those, but
I thought A and P was for two things: grocery bags and book covers.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah,
exactly.
You make sure you turn the paper inside out too, so the label didn't show.
Yeah, book covers. You had, and then
brown craft.
And then
book covers.
The book covers were great because then you could doodle on the books.
Yes, exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you remember we sold our books when the year was ending. Did you sell your books? So the more you wrote in them, the less value they had. And your mother would say, "You're writing in that book." But sometimes you need to take notes.
Book covers. And if you had, and then you got the fancy kids that went to the store and got book covers.
It's book cover.
Yeah, you go to the book covers.
You know, when you said grocery, I was thinking plastic bags. Give me a break. It was brown paper bags.
What do they do now? I get an books. Wait a minute. No. They don't have books.
And they do not cover them.
And they don't bring them home. If they do have books, 90% of them are for the classroom. They don't send them home with the kids. They don't even bring home in middle school. My middle schooler has homework once a week in math.
Let me.
But how do they learn? I mean, my kids in New York State, they have oodles of homework. It's hard.
Google has started Google Classroom. This is several years ago.
Great.
We need to talk about Google Classroom. They have taken over the classroom.
Brainwash.
They came in and made a deal with the schools.
Brainwash.
And yes, but I want one more thing. I want to close. I got to close with this. Okay. If now everything is computerized and technology and you have no books, then what happened to the days where if you don't turn these BKB, if you don't turn these two books in by Thursday, you don't graduate? You remember all the kids that were
hold over their head?
You remember all the kids that were looking for their books?
You need
you remember all the kids that were looking for their books their last week because they were sweating. They got the note. You're not walking if you don't turn it on.
My books were.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy. I didn't know where my books were. I didn't.
Now let's say you're $10,000 light on the private school tuition. We need to have the check in hand before we give you the diploma.
I'm your host, BKP. We are at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Maybe we're having just way too much fun, but we've been discussing what's wrong. And we didn't make light today we didn't make light of 17 kids that are dead, and we want to extend our thoughts, our prayers sincerely to the family and extended family and friends in that community that's going through so much at this tragic time. But when we get done, we don't want the politicians saying what happened. We don't want to hear the politicians come up with the solution. You and I, Jane, Rick, Amanda, Samantha, you and I need to figure out what happened, okay? What is happening to our kids? I'm your host. We're going to come back and talk sports. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Sorry that we had such a tragic situation, but we did have some good discussion. And, you know, hey, what happened to books? Where are the books? Take us out of here.
Hey,
Let's talk
that's
sports.
That's a new topic. What happened to? We could